Today I wanted to talk with you about how to overcome fear. It's a huge one. It's the very thing that governs the majority of us on this planet in terms of our internal state of being. And I'm no different. You know, even though I've learned how to overcome a lot of fears and I've taught a lot of other people how to do it, I'm still working through things too. And I think, first of all, overcoming fear is a lifelong journey because we have a lot of different ones. But that being said, there are two ways that I've learned to overcome fear. The first way is just going cold turkey on it. So let's use the example of you're scared of the dark. Let's use that as a fear you want to overcome. By cold turkey and going deep diving on it, what that means is all of a sudden you've slept with the lights on your entire life, and for tonight, right now, mentally, emotionally, and physically, you embody a new vibrational state of being that says, just by deciding you do, that you're no longer scared of the dark and you go to sleep with the lights off that night. Done, fixed. Fear fixed. That's the first way. Some people can do that. I've been able to do that with a number of things in my life, but that hasn't been the most practical way. Because at the end of the day, if you're scared of the dark, you're scared of the dark. You haven't been able to figure out that mental permission slip to overcome it in that way. But that's one way. Now, the most practical way to overcome fear is to build internal momentum, is to swing the pendulum of your internal momentum. What do I mean by that? So if you're someone who's scared of the dark, right, and you sleep with your light on, let's say that's what you do, you sleep with your light on. Rather than turning your light off, see if on the first night you can just turn it down a little bit. It's still on, but turn it down. If you've got a control where you can make the light less intense, turn it down. If you've got that option. If you don't have that option, sleep with the television on instead of the actual light. Just try to make the light less of what it normally is. If you continue to take an approach like that every night, it might take you 5 years, or it could take you 2 weeks. But if you just slowly lessened and lessened the light, day by day, nothing would seem to change, but when you look back, everything's different. And you would overcome that fear because you had built momentum in a small way that didn't seem too drastic of a change to get closer to that dark point. And before you know it, you'd be in it. But you would get there gradually and seamlessly. That's the best way to do it. Let's say you had a fear of swimming in the ocean because you're worried about sharks. I know a lot of people that have that one, right? If you're in a boat in the middle of the ocean, someone throws you overboard, you're going to be scared. Very scared. You're not going to overcome a fear. However, start with water. And I don't mean water like a pool. I mean going to an ocean, and rather than having to go into the middle of the ocean, dip your toes in the sand. Well, not the sand, you know what I'm saying, in the water. Dip your toes in the water. All right? That's it. Start like that. Then next time, get up to your knees. Next time, up to your hips. You're still in the shallow, you're still where the sand is, right? That's where you got to be. But my point is, if you just start there, all the way at the very beginning, and you work into it, you will be able to get to a point one day where you could jump in the middle of the ocean, right? If that's what you choose to do. This is if you want to overcome this fear, yeah? If you don't want to overcome it, don't. But if you're someone who wants to overcome it, and you have that mindset to want to get in the middle of the ocean, knowing sharks are around, but trust that you'll be okay, or be in a safety net, or however it works to make you get through, my point is you have to start all the way back there. You don't need to start with something heavy. It's about building momentum to a point where you have confidence, you have trust, you have a knowing. All right, I know the shark one's pretty drastic, but I'm just using that as an example to show you all the little steps that people miss. Let's say something less scary. Let's go with a fear of social anxiety. You're scared to speak to strangers, but inside you really want to talk to them because you're either attracted to them or you see it to be a great opportunity. You want to, but you can't. I think I've mentioned this previously in some of my other videos, but what's stopping you from working with the little opportunities in front of yourself to gain that momentum to then go and speak to that stranger? And the little opportunities I'm talking about are when you're walking, if you go for a walk around your street, if that's what you do, and strangers walk past you, most of us these days are on our phone, or we look down when someone's coming past us. Now, unless of course you find that person from distance to be threatening, or it's better to not make eye contact or whatever, smile and say hello. Try it. You're not getting into a conversation. It's a walking past moment, a walk by moment. But watch what that does for you and how you feel. Watch the momentum you start to build, because you once would have looked down. continue to do that. When you go to fill up your car with petrol, when you go to the groceries and you see a checkout chick or a checkout guy, like whatever the things are that you've got, start smiling, saying hello to people. Once you build momentum from that point, take it a step further. Hi, how you going? How's your day been? What do you do with yourself? That's it. You don't need to know their whole life story, but jump in a more extended conversation. Get used to speaking to people who you don't talk to. And if you go, well, this is my problem, Chris, I do have social anxiety, I can't do that. You're literally speaking to people that are being paid at that point in time to stand there and smile at you and say hello. Work with that. Build that momentum up. You will see it start manifesting in other areas of your life. Then you'll get to this point where you feel so confident in yourself that you won't be so worried about the rejection or the awkwardness of breaking the ice or whatever it is. You will just do this so much and build this momentum up that your fear of going and speaking to a stranger is completely gone. But again, that's building the personal momentum that actually overcomes a fear with action. Versus, I could stand here right now, there might be someone over there and I say, you know what guys, I'm just going to go speak to them to get over it right now. I've decided that I'm going to do it. You also get over a fear that way too. Most of us can't do that yet. You only get to that point when you've realized what fear actually is, how it works, and then you go, okay, I'm making the decision to no longer feel like this. I feel like this now, bang, gone. But start with the small stuff. Start with the little wins. Life's all about the little wins. Again, day by day, nothing seems to change, but when you look back, everything's different. Think about the overcoming fear, like overcoming your fear like that. Don't see it as something you need to have fixed right now, unless of course you're that way inclined, and go do it. See it as a journey. See it as little steps, little wins. Be consciously aware of what you're worried about. And then, to be honest, if you want to deep dive with yourself about the fears, I've just given you, I guess, a little bit of a toolkit as to how to overcome them. But a really good way to overcome fears is to actually understand why you're worried about them in the first place. Now, some things make logical sense. Say, like, for example, the shark thing, because you go, well, I jump in the middle of the ocean, the shark bites me, and then my life may end or it may change. I get it, that's scary. There's a why there behind why you don't like that. But if you're someone who wants to get in the ocean with sharks, but you're just scared to do it, ask why you're scared to do it when you want to do it. And that goes for any aspect in your life. Why are you scared of the dark? It's not about judgment, it's about understanding yourself more. Because the only way you can ever help anything in life, whether that be yourself, somebody else, a situation, or whatever other example I'm going to throw at you, the only way you can help anything is by understanding it. You can help nothing without understanding it. All right? There's pretty much my number one coaching philosophy. And my cousin was the person who actually told me that many years ago when I was doing all this work. He said, in order to help people, you've got to understand people. Well, that applies to us and ourselves. In order to help ourselves, we must understand ourselves. In order to overcome a fear, we must understand why we have the fear, what it's doing, what it serves. All right? Hopefully, there's some stuff in that video that can help you moving forward, start you overcoming fears. And also, just to wrap it up, you don't need to deep dive into your greatest fear. When I talk about building momentum to overcome a fear, start with the fears that aren't so hectic in your life. Start with stuff that's more uncomfortable. Discomfort is the starting point for fear or worry. If you have things remain uncomfortable for a long period of time and it builds up, it becomes a fear. So work with those things. All right? Hope it helps.